Yo, what's up? It's Jason. I'm back again, and I'm back on the road doing a little quick update here of some recent finds that I picked up here in Toronto area. Did some trading again. I got some sick wax, and I've got some CDs, of course, to show off as well. Playing in the background, I don't know if you guys hear it or not, but this is the new Malleus album release. Came out in 2023. This is the Fires of Heaven on the Armageddon label. Ordered this directly off their Bandcamp and playing it right now in the little system we got here. Yeah, some evilish, devilish vocals as you can hear. This is black and thrash with some punk elements and some death metal elements as well. Just a solid release. Nothing like super spectacular that jumps out, but it just kind of has a great kind of overall flow. Starts off with like a violin sort of classical intro and then just kind of carries on from there. So I saw this in the VC, I think in some year-end roundups. Might have been Dreadful Rick actually that recommended this one, so I picked that up not too long ago. I guess, yeah, I'll carry on the CDs and then we'll get to the vinyl. So some of these CDs I actually picked up on my last trip here and had left them here, and some I brought home and listened to as well. Carrying on from the death metal vibes, we got Coffins. I don't think I've shown this one yet. This was only $10 used, and a lot of these actually I got free because I just did a trade in for them. So this band is absolutely sick as well. Malleus is from Boston area. Coffins, I think, is Japanese, and this is on $20 spin. An early $20 spin release, actually. It's like number 7 or something. It's a very early $20 spin, anyway. Killer stuff. Sometime in the 2010s, 2006, guys. Man, you gotta love when they put some gray lettering on black. Not the easiest thing to see on catalog. So pick that up. Picked up, of course, some Bauhaus. This is volume 2. I don't have volume 1, but greatest hits package here. Ziggy Stardust is on this one, along with a shit ton of other tracks as well. Gotta love some Bauhaus. See all the tracks on there. Yeah, so Jesus and Mary Chain is up next. This is the Barbed Wire Kisses compilation. Also a great comp. Old school comp by them. I remember this coming out. It's got Psycho Candy on here, Sidewalking's on here, Surfing USA. It's the stuff from like the second album on. But it's got the old school stuff too from the first album, Taste of Cindy. Upside Down is on here. I'm looking for like Vegetable Man. I don't know if that's on this one or not. I don't think it is actually, but 20 tracks in total. Jesus and Mary Chain, always classic. And speaking of classic, you don't get more classic rock than Kiss. Hard rock, that is. Picked up a copy of Revenge. I like this later Kiss album. It's got Domino on it, for example, a Gene Simmons track, which kicks ass. And I don't know any of the other tracks on this, but gotta give that a spin. So, some pretty cool Kiss. Oh, one more CD to show. I did pick this up. I'm on the fence still about this one. This is the Crosses, not Churches, the other band. Crosses is a side project of a couple guys from the Deftones. So this album is called Good Night, God Bless, I Love You, Delete. It was their latest release in 2023, and I did see this in the VC. At least one metal VC, I think, included is their number 1 pick. Probably because of that Deftones connection, but also they just enjoyed the album. It's not bad. It's a little bit too poppy for me, maybe a little bit too EDM. Some great heavy synth work, but there's always a vocal on every single track. I probably would have liked a little less vocals. Speaking of vocals, though, there is guest appearances on here. Rapper LP is on this, and Robert Smith of The Cure is on the 14th track on this album. 14th, did I mention? Yeah, there's a lot of tracks on this album. There's 15 in total. That might also be a little bit of a factor for me. Now let's get into the wax. This is some much more underground stuff than that one. Started off with a split, hardcore split we got here. This is Oiltanker and No Tomorrow on Profane Existence. slamming, crusty hardcore, crusty D-beat. I think I saw this last time I was in Sonic Booms, where I got all this stuff pretty much, other than a couple Amazon things or whatever, Bandcamp things. Sonic Boom in Toronto. I think I saw it last time and passed. Decided to just snatch it this time. It's only $10, and it is a pretty killer split from like 2012. Oiltanker is out of Hartford, Connecticut, and No Tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly where they're from, but I know one of the band members is in a lot of projects in Richmond, Virginia, so gotta guess Richmond, Virginia. Profane Existence record labels out of Minneapolis, and this is straight up some US killer hardcore crust from the 2010s. Next thing I picked up, this one was $15, but surprise, surprise, I didn't pay anything for any of these I'm showing you right now because I just did a trade-off, which is kind of like the best thing to do, right? You have some old music that you're not listening to anymore, or didn't click with you, bring it in, trade it in, get a discount on other stuff, or even get the other stuff free completely. So I picked this up. This was a blind buy. I listened a little bit to it on my phone in the shop. This is Troum versus Nid, another thing from like the 2010s. Actually, the live recording recorded September 8th, 2001, and then released a little bit later. Troum is, the name looked familiar. I don't think I really know of them or had anything by them before, but they've been around since the late 90s. They're a duo, I believe, from Bremen, Germany, and Nid is a trio, somewhat ad hoc trio, it looks like, from Discogs pictures and info, shaky info. But yeah, Troum is well known, I guess. They have a lot of releases actually cataloged on their Bandcamp, and they're kind of known for this like industrial ambient sound. Think Coil maybe. There's some rhythmic elements in it, and this album is called Ignis Sacer. It's actually 6 movement piece, split up into 2 parts, part 1 and 2 on each side here, and it's very cool. It's super dark ambient stuff, droney at times, intense drone, I'd say, and rhythmic noise. Very cool record. It worked for me on the phone, and hoping it's going to work on the turntable as well. Next up, I had to snatch this. I hadn't been expecting this or anything, and I'm not super familiar with this artist's solo work. I'm talking about J.K. Flesh here of Godflesh. Of course, Godflesh, legendary industrial metal band, and then Justin Broderick, aka J.K. Flesh, does his solo stuff on the side, which is more in techno related, which is totally in my wheelhouse. This one is called Suicide Estate, as you can see. VG Plus copy, they say, but really this is like near mint. They're kind of undergrade, I'd say. This is also on Hospital Productions, great label out of New York, which is Dominic Farrow, Vatican Shadows label. So yeah, this album is solid, man. It's really cool. Some thumping industrial techno on here, clanging goodness, moody at times, dark and minimal. Just how I like it. Lots of cool tracks on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tracks in total. I think on Discogs they list this as an EP, but it's over 2 vinyl, so that's definitely an LP for me. 2 more to go. All right, next one. This is probably one of my favorites of the whole pile, and completely random buy. This is an artist called Korridor. I don't know if you guys are going to see through the plastic, and that is sort of the sleeve. Let's see, I think I should take it out of one plastic anyway. This one's called NE7 by Korridor, path 0102.591. So getting into the digits here. Swedish techno artist, really killer techno, minimal and murky as hell. This came out in 2014, and despite collecting a shit ton of techno records in my collection, an artist that completely passed me by. And that's what I love about some of these genres. Whether it's death metal or techno or black metal, there's always something that you missed, something that you can unearth, and that is actually excellent. And yeah, it turns out Korridor's got some killer tracks, a bunch of stuff on his Bandcamp, and on other labels too. This one is on the Northern Electronics label out of Sweden as well. I was kind of familiar with the label, so that piqued my interest, just the look of it too. It's a 2013, 2014 release. Murky, dark, techno, kind of psychedelic a little bit too. I'd say this is like a more tripped out Plastic Man. Think in that term, in those terms. 3 tracks in total, all of them super wicked. 2.5, the second track, is probably my favorite of the 3, but they're all good. The first one, the first one or the last track? Yeah, the first track, I guess. Path 1 is like a nice slow acid groover. Again, kind of Plastic Man, but like more murky and more psychedelic without being lo-fi, if that makes any sense. But just a nice acid line kind of bubbling underneath. Really cool single. 3 tracks. Definitely went into my pile. And last but not least, I got a mega record here to show. Now, I had just picked up Autechre's debut not long ago on CD. The same shop, used. I've been playing it to death, actually, for the last, 3 weeks solid. Non-stop. It's a long album, too. It's 75 minutes. 74 minutes. Released on Warp originally in 1993, I think. So, this time around, with some store credit and some trade-ins again, I decided to pick it up on wax as well. This is Autechre's first album. And the reason why it's got the AE, by the way, I think it's one of the reasons why they got the AE, is the Artificial Intelligence series that Warp Records had put out back in the early 90s. So it was part of that series, which included Aphex Twin and a bunch of other Warp label artists, with the concept of IDM, basically, intelligent dance music, or techno you can listen to. And this is definitely very listenable, for sure. This is Warp LP 17, so early in the catalog, early in the Autechre catalog is their debut. I swear I had this on cassette back in the day in the 90s. In the 90s in Montreal, when I was going to university, didn't have a lot of cash for CDs. I was just buying either vinyl for DJing or cassettes or making mixtapes. And I remember listening to this over and over on a Walkman, I'm pretty sure. So, what is the name of the actual album? It's Incunabula, I think is the... Yeah, Incunabula. Incunabula. First Autechre album. Pick it up. If you haven't heard it, it's really cool. It's got ambient passages, just interesting electronics, and a fun listen to overall. So that is my update on the road, collection update on the road. Yeah, I might be picking up some more stuff on this trip. If not, when I get back home, I've also got more stuff to show as well. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you.